everyone. This is Hope from Bros Before Bros. Thank you so much for tuning in on this craptastic Friday. It is freaking raining outside. I got home just in enough time to talk to you guys. Guys, it's been a week. So yesterday, if you guys remember from Tuesday, I was telling you I've been kind of sick on and off because of my stupid sinus infection. That's gone. But then yesterday I had a reaction to my medication. This time it wasn't my diabetes medication. It was my Zoloft, actually. My husband accidentally gave me an extra tablet. At least he claims it's an accident. Sorry, husband, if you're watching this. I do love you. But he accidentally gave me an extra tablet, and it just wreaked havoc on my body yesterday. Like, I was like nauseated. I wasn't feeling good at all. I was grumpy. I couldn't eat anything, so that pissed me off. It was bad. It was so bad yesterday. So as soon as I got home, again, I went straight to bed. I couldn't get any freaking reading done. But yeah, I'm back. I'm alive. I'm so happy. All right, so I'm still in the middle of reading, because I didn't get to it yesterday, The Summer of Jordi Perez and the Best Burger in Los Angeles. I'm on page 3 right now, and guys, I think I'm right. I think this is going to be a 5-star prediction. I got the hiccups. Why do you guys do this to me every time? So I think this is going to be a 5-star prediction. I absolutely adore this book. I adore it. So the main character, her name is Abby. She is a plus-size queer girl that loves fashion. And she's getting ready to do this big internship with one of her favorite fashion companies. It's like a little retail store, but it's kind of high-end. So it's a big deal for her. And it just kind of talks about her journey with that and falling in love. She's got cotton pink hair, and yeah, I love her. I love her so much. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm only on chapter 3 because I got so sick yesterday. I couldn't even focus. So I'm going to be, excuse me, I'm still recovering. I'm going to be actually reading this tonight. I'm going to get all snuggled up because it is freaking raining outside. So I think I'm going to have a nice cup of hot cocoa and read. So yeah, I'm still working on that book. That's my contemporary update here. And of course, I am interested in finding out what your guys' ContemporaryAthon updates are looking like. I did start another book, and it's not in relation to ContemporaryAthon. It's just for I guess fun. We're going to talk about that. Let's go into the other reason why I wanted to do this video with you guys today. So before I got deathly sick, like seriously, like on my deathbed kind of sick, my dear friend Bookish L had tagged me on Twitter and on YouTube to do a travel tag, and I wanted to do this one so bad. In fact, I really wanted to do it yesterday. That's what I was kind of planning on doing. And then, of course, my husband OD'd me. That's love. Okay. I'm just teasing. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. Bookish L, thank you so much for tagging me on this. I am so stoked and humbled that you did that. And if you guys want, I'm going to actually be tagging Bookish L and a few other YouTubers down here, or booktubers, if you will. I really think you should check them all out, especially Bookish L. She is such a sweetheart, and I love her videos. And she has her niece in the travel tag video, and she is freaking adorable. Side note, Bookish L, if you're listening, I have to tell you this. When you tagged me, I guess I've never really paid that much attention, but the video that you posted of the travel tag, you look exactly like my cousin Brenda, like to a T. It creeped me out so bad. I mean, I always think she's beautiful, and obviously you're beautiful too if you remind me of her, but you, yeah, to a T, and even your personality is kind of like hers too. So you have a twin running around here in Ohio. Just a FYI. All right, we're going to jump into this tag. It is a two-parter tag, and like I said, it's called Travel Book Tag. So the first part is going to be non-bookish related, and then the second part is going to be book related. So let's just jump into it. So part one is a vacation flashback. Talk about one of your favorite places you've ever traveled to. Who did you go with? What did you do there? Why was it so memorable? I can't read my own handwriting, guys. Oh, this one's tough because there's been so many different trips that I've taken over the years. There's top three. I'm going to have to just do a top three. So the first one obviously would be Louisville, Kentucky. I know I only live like an hour and a half away from Louisville. And if you guys can't understand what I'm saying, it's some people call it Louisville. I've heard that. Us Cincinnatians would call it Louisville. We basically talk like we have marbles in our mouth. So that's the first one. And I actually went with my husband. It was for our honeymoon. And we went down there for our honeymoon with the main idea in mind that we were going to go to Waverly Hills Sanatorium and tour it at night. So we went, and it's 10 o'clock at night. Of course, it's like Haunted Honeymoon with Gene Wilder, right? So we went. It was like 10 o'clock at night. The building was super duper dark. I don't know how many times we tripped. I almost twisted my ankle in the process. It was like a recipe for disaster, but it was so much fun. It's one of the most memorable experiences that I had with my husband. We had such a great time on our trip, not only just going to that, but just we went to the Louisville Slugger Museum, which was really cool. I made an ass out of myself trying to bat because I'm not a batter. I only played basketball all my life. So my husband made fun of me because I couldn't hit the ball. He didn't do a better job either. But yeah, it was really fun. It was a great moment. The second one, the second place that I can name that I have such good memories about is Chicago. I went to Chicago for the very first time. It was like my first trip by myself, without an adult supervisor with me. I think I was like 22, maybe 22, 23. It was shortly after college, I know that. And I went with my best friend, Melody. And we went to Chicago because her mom lived in Chicago. That's her hometown. And it was just, guys, it was an experience. I always tell my husband that if we ever win the lottery or something changes in our lives, we need to move to Chicago. Because I think that was my past life hometown, so to speak. But we went there, we got lost in Wrigley Field at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was fun, I think it was just amazing. And just, not having to jump into a car necessarily, just walking down the street and hopping on the L and just riding around town, all hours of the night. That was like the perfect thing for me. So that's my memory. Let's see here. And the third, I think the third I'm going to have to say was my Indianapolis trip with my friend Mike. We went to Whorehound a few years back, and I was so stoked. We actually got to meet, the girl who played Nancy on Nightmare on Elm Street. She was amazing. She was just the sweetest person. It's Heather something, starts with an L. I got to meet her. And I also got to meet her friend that dies at the very beginning. And Tina, the little blonde-haired girl. She was so freaking sweet. And she was talking about how she loved my eyeglasses and my fashion at the time because I was really just all over the place with my fashion at that point. She just was amazing. She was so sweet. And then I got to meet Russ Striner, and that was Johnny from Night of the Living Dead. He was the sweetest man I have ever met, you guys. He was like, you guys are gonna laugh, he was literally like my first crush when I was like 3, because my dad raised me on horror movies. Parenting fail a little bit. But he was just the sweetest, kindest man. And when I told him that my dad was the reason why I absolutely loved him and loved the Night of the Living Dead franchise, he offered to call my dad and talk to him and thank him for raising me. Raising me right. And he was going to do it. And then, of course, my phone was dead. But he told me if I wanted to come back, he would definitely make that phone call for me. So, yeah, those would probably be my top 3 experiences of going out on a trip of some sort. So I cheated a little bit because I couldn't pick just one. All right, let's go into part 2 here, the bookish questions. So each bookish question is somehow related to like a flight question. So booking the flight, an expensive book or edition you own, was it worth it? I would say it was definitely worth it. I'm going to preface with that. Some people might disagree. But the most expensive book that I can recall purchasing is A Twist of Linen by Cynthia Lennon. And it was a first edition copy. So if you guys aren't familiar who Cynthia Lennon is, she was actually the first wife of John Lennon. So she and John met, I believe it was 1959, if I remember correctly. They met in art school. It was art college. And they ended up going out. They became very, very close. And then they ended up getting married in like 1962. And they had their son, Julian. And basically the book just talks about her life with John. John was a very complex person. He had snark about him. He dealt with depression. I'm sure he dealt with anxiety. It sounded like he had some anxiety. Of course, back then, that went unchecked. So it talks about all those experiences with him. This book, guys, let me just say, first off, it was fucking hard to find this book. Like, extremely hard to find this book. I think I ended up going on to this was like in 1998 or 99. I want to say it was 98 because it was right before I was going into high school. I ended up going on to like a book database website of some sort, late 90s. That stuff was jank looking. But I found it, and it was like $25 US dollars, I think. But then it had some additional pricing, like taxes, and I think there was like some sort of shipping, and it came out to be like 30 something. I can't remember. It was around $30. Most expensive paperback I ever bought. And my dad gave me so much hell for it too, because he was like, why did you waste your money on that? First off, he does not like the Beatles. He's like the Antichrist. And then, of course, he's like a farmer guy. He doesn't pay that much for books. So he teased me about that. But it came from the UK. It's an awesome, awesome book. I highly recommended it. I found it very entertaining. And of course, Cynthia Lennon also included some of her drawings that she would draw over time of her life with John Lennon. So it's an incredible book. If you guys are looking for an equivalent to it, because it's such a hard find, her other book, John, is basically the same thing, but maybe with a little bit more meat in it. So check it out. Okay, question 2, packing your luggage. A book you felt had a busy but organized plot. This one's tough. I've been trying to think for the last 2 days of what book that would possibly be. Because most of the time I could just keep up with the books. I guess I would say the book that maybe was busy but was really organized is Gone with the Wind. I think that's kind of a classic. and it's just the content matter. I mean, you're looking at the main character, Scarlett O'Hara, her personal life, but then you have all this stuff going on around her with the war and um, slavery and just everything in general. It was a very, very, what's the word? Intimidating read because there was just so much going on. But I still think it's one of those books that everybody should at least read once. So, all right, packing. Let's see. Airport security check. A book that you analyze the most. Annotations, notes, etc. So I'm going to say that would be, for me, this particular year, it would be The Museum of Heartbreak. I think I annotated the crap out of that book, just with all my little post-its and all my little, tag sticky thingies that point. I don't know what those are called, and also I'm really tired. But that would probably be the book that that I noted the most just this year. I'm sure there's some other books out there, but I would say it would have to be all my books in college. I lived by writing in those books. So yeah. Okay, airport meal. A book character you wish you could have lunch with. What kind of questions would you ask? This one, easy, hands down. I think I would love to have lunch with I'm going to mess up her first name, Idgie Threadgood, from Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I would just love to sit down with Idgie because of so many different things. One thing is she's a strong, strong female character in a time where females aren't supposed to be that strong. They're supposed to be very subdued, submissive, and basically just roll with whatever is coming their way. She's quite the opposite. She is very independent. She's loyal. She doesn't need the comfort and security of a man. She is her own person, and I loved her character so much. And in fact, when I read the book for the first time, I think I was in 6th grade, and I just thought to myself, I want to be like her. I want to be that kind of person that just can handle their own. So yeah, those would be the questions I would ask her. I would ask her how she got to that point, and of course, I would just pick her brain about everything. And then at the last moment, I would ask her for the secret recipe for fried green tomatoes. So yeah, or maybe the ribs, maybe the barbecue. I think we all know what the secret recipe was for that. All right. Question 5. Airport souvenirs. A book you have multiple copies of. So I have multiple copies of A Brave New World by I blanked out. I can't remember. It's Huxley. Something Huxley. I have a lot of books. I have a lot of copies of A Brave New World because I do love that book so much. But the funny story with that is I keep buying copies of it because I keep losing the other copies that I have. And then a few months after, I lose them and go out and buy another one. A couple days later, I find the stupid book. I probably have 3. I have 3 here. I know I gave another one to my sister after I bought it for like the 4th time. And then what? The other one's the ebook. So I have 5 copies go through my hands at one point or another. And it's just because I've moved so many different times in the past 5 years that I lose things very easily. And then I happen to find them. So I would say that Brave New World is the book that I have the most copies of. Airplane Turbulence, a book with a plot that makes you anxious or nervous. This is going to be one of those ones I'm going to cheat. Anything that has true crime in it. I know that sounds crazy because why does it make me nervous? I guess the reason why anything like true crime would make you nervous is because it's terrifying to think that there's people out there that would actually do the kind of stuff that are, you know, detailed in those books. So just a few ones I could think of off the top of my head. Helter Skelter, I think that's one that made me so freaking nervous. I remember I was in college and I was on a co-op where I was working out at a farm, and I was pretty much a caretaker of this farm, and there was nobody else there. I would make the mistake of reading Helter Skelter at night before bed. Way to go, Hope. That's real smart. And it scared the hell out of me. It really did. I wasn't able to sleep for like 2 days straight because of that book. Another book is Small Sacrifices by Anne Rule. It's about the Diane Downs case. Horrifying book. And I don't know why I get myself into these situations where I read about, you know, these horrible things that people do to each other, or even their own children. It disgusts me. But again, I think that's just because I wanted to go into that field at some point in my life. So those two books I could definitely say. And then I believe the other book, shoot, I can't remember what that book is called. It's based on a case, the Sylvia Likings case of 1966. That book is rough too. If I find out what that book is, I'll let you know. If you guys are interested in hearing about any of the true crime books I've read, feel free to let me know and I'll be happy to do a video about it. Let's see, let's go on something happier. So, Landing, your most anticipated release of the year. I would say that would be Victoria Schwab's City of Ghosts. It was like everybody I knew was talking about that book, so I was really excited about it coming out. Baggage Claim, a book or series that felt like a drag. So this ties into the book I'm currently reading alongside my Contemporary-a-thon picks, and it's just because I wanted to find something to listen to while I was at work, and that is called Sea and Storm. Unfortunately, I didn't write down the author. Just not a fan right now. Maybe I'll pick up. There's a scene in it that has insta love in it, and it's just the main character, the protagonist. She's exhausting. That'll be for another video. Destination, a book series you could read over and over and over and over and over again. You guys might judge me, but I personally could read over and over and over again The Infernal Devices, and that's obviously by Cassandra Clare. I'm a huge fan of it. Honestly, you know, a lot of people say Harry Potter. I would do the same thing with Harry Potter, but I just feel like I need to get a different answer out there. I like The Infernal Devices. I wasn't a fan of the Mortal Instruments series. I thought it was a little bit bland, but I like period pieces. And I happen to have a mini crush on Will Herondale. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, final answer. Let's see. Tag your friends. So I'm going to tag 4 people out there. First person I want to tag is Lost in Bookland, The Happy Booktuber, and Pages and Pens. Julie, if you're watching, I'm tagging you. And Select Pages. She has a very good channel. All of these people have amazing channels. And of course, I'm going to put their links down below because I really want you to check them out. But those are the 4 people I'm going to tag for this challenge. So I hope you guys had a good time with this challenge. Like I said, if you have any questions about anything I talked about, you're more welcome to ask me. And like I said, I'll also do a true crime video if you guys are interested in that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be checking back in with you guys shortly, hopefully. All right, bye.